Happy Friday. Happy Friday. Hi, guys. What's up, B. Strilla, J Train? How y'all doing?
What up, though?
What it do? What it do?
All right. So for our new viewers, because I know we have some, let me go ahead and get everybody acclimated. Shout out to Pink Panther for the promos all day that she's been giving out. And shout out to all of y'all and B. Strilla for that hype up video. I hope everybody's doing great today on November 14th. We're celebrating vets all month. So shout out to J Train and BA right here, the vets extraordinaire, Navy and Army in the house. I hope you all got a chance to grab some of your freebies of appreciation this week, gentlemen.
Nah, for me, I don't really buy into it too much because I mean it's free, but man, it's at age 50, it ain't free. It's adding all kind of stuff on cholesterol, it's love handles, everything else. So
All right. So listen, if you guys have not been following too much, we have a little issue with Facebook. By the way, Pink, we tried to connect to your page. It did not connect now, so it's a whole lot of stuff going on. So just make sure you guys follow us on YouTube, Prim and Proper Sports. Thank you, everybody, for hopping over there. What's up, Yenzer? I'm so glad to know that you are joining us today, as always. And yeah, so anyway, let's get started. J Train, this is our first time being together since the Panthers. I'll go ahead and put that out there. The Panthers lost to you guys. Congratulations. This is your applause, a tiny congrats for your win 17-7 on Sunday. Literally shut down our offense and our defense with Tyler Shuck. Talk about that game a little bit there. That was in Carolina.
well, let's not get it twisted. We're still the Aints. We are 2-8. We're still the Aints. We just ain't lose to the Carolina Panthers. That's okay. But I mean, I would say I will say thank you for the applaud, B. Appreciate it. This is the coming out party for Tyler Shuck. He's the 40th overall pick, and he's going to have an easy way. I mean, look, we are priming ourselves to be the top 5 pick for 2026 draft. And what you want to see from him is just you want to see if he can play ball to where you don't have to draft a quarterback in that range, and you can get a premier player to either help him at wide receiver, which we need, or defensive end, edge rusher, which we need, any other position outside of quarterback, which we need. So I just think that it was while you saw great play from him, let's just keep it mild and hope for the best and hope because he showed some good stuff. He showed some rookie stuff too as well. But man, I mean that one particular play where it looked like he was about to get sacked, and he maneuvered through the offensive line, defensive line coming at him, and he threw that left 15-yard pass to Juwan Johnson and went for about 52 yards. That was impressive for a rookie. I mean, mind you, anyone that knows he's a rookie out there that doesn't know much about Tyler Shuck, he played at Louisville. He got drafted 40th overall. He's 27 or 26, going on 27. And he played 7 years in college. So he's a rookie, but he doesn't play like a rookie. He's got a little bit more poise, a little bit of experience. He can play under center. So we play the Falcons. We got a bye this week, and we play the Falcons next week. After you and the Panthers go beat them Falcons down.
Yeah, speaking of, I talked to Kevin earlier. Kevin is probably watching us. What's up, Kevin? He worked all day today. I mean, all of us did. Let's be clear, unless you been a student or what have you. But he couldn't be on. And I'm gonna be honest. Of course, we'll talk about those Week 11 games that are coming up here shortly. B, how are you feeling about your game here? The Lions had an outstanding. I mean, I'm talking about prideful, no pun intended, the Lions' pride against the Washington Commanders, doubled them 44-22. I mean, without Jaden Daniels and Terry, Scary Terry, whatever you guys call him, I mean, that was kind of a given, or was it? I mean, the Lions are now ranked number 1 and actually tied with the New England Patriots for the number 1 position, both of them AFC and NFC teams. You guys are running here strong in this new season.
Yeah, I didn't see the number one thing. We aren't literally number one. That would be Seattle, and the Rams are basically 1 and 2 as far as the seeding goes, and then it's Philadelphia. But yeah, I'm not feeling bad about the offense going into Philadelphia, but the defense is going to be shaky because we don't have don't have Terrion Arnold and Kirby, two of our secondary guys, and now we don't have Sam Laporta. Sam Laporta, the tight end, is out
Oh,
also in
wow.
this game. So, but I'm still not worried about the offense. The offense, it clicks. It don't matter who they got in there. As long as the play calling is good and the offensive line can block, I'm not worried about the offense. I'm not worried about the offense. I am worried about the defense, though. So I think it's going to be a pretty fair scored, fairly not high, but like mid-range scored games. It'll play like a 27, 24, 28 to 25, 24, something like that kind of game. So it'll be a good game, though. It'll be one of the good games of this weekend.
Well, I guess I was going off of your chat where you said you guys were number one. So, everybody knows I've been kind of out of the loop with standings this season because I had other stuff going on. So I was going off of, your self-professed number one. But I guess you're talking about for the NFC North, correct?
Yeah, NFC North.
All right, well, see, that's still a feat in itself. Guys, I mean, this is just, we are officially started. We have started week 11. The Jets, of course, fell to the Patriots 27-14. Let's talk about that a little bit. Drake May, I mean, for mayor, a lot of people had little signs up and everything. Vrabel and the Patriots look like they have finally found their footing. I don't know if you guys got a chance to look at that game last night, but the Jets look like they were formidable for a little bit, and then typical Jets that we've seen this year. They failed to the Patriots, but it's always a nice little matchup with them because they are in the same division. But Drake May, y'all, I mean, outstanding yardage, outstanding performance. His O-line protects him solidly. What were your thoughts on that game?
Mute.
You're muted.
Yeah, sorry about that. I like what Drake May is doing for the season. I mean, he's taking an uptick from his rookie year, where he had a little bit of up and down, but he's like really taking it to another level. And I think you got to give credit to his coaching. I think coaching matters as well, and adding a few extra pieces here. And they've added but I want to give credit to their run game, especially the rookie. The rookie had 3 touchdowns. He had 63 yards rushing, 30 yards receiving, and 2 rushing touchdowns and 1 receiving touchdown. So he really had a big game. And Henderson is just Travion Henderson is just really starting to blossom as well. And so that's just going to bode well for them. Albeit the Patriots haven't beat their wins outside of Buffalo really hadn't been. It's been against losing teams, but you can only play what's in front of you. And I just think that they're doing really well, and they're leading the division right now, aren't they?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, they are.
Yeah. So, man, look, let me tell you, look out if they can win out, or maybe go 6-1 or 7-0. They're impressive. They're impressive right now. So, and Vrabel might be coach of the year with this. What's going on right now, because they made it
around. Mm-hmm. What do you think, B?
Oh yeah, I agree wholeheartedly with James. That's that New England team is, and they're impressive on defense. People don't realize. I pulled up a couple stats yesterday when I was talking about this game. I was like, dang, they're number one against Russia in Russian defense. Their defense is playing pretty solid too, and Stephon Diggs is blossoming in this offense. Congratulations to him and Cardi B. Anyway,
yeah, they had this boy last night.
Yeah, and they those uniforms last night. I think that I took that. I watched half the game. It was the Jets, but I thought the uniforms were kind of fly actually. They matched pretty well.
I did not like them.
You didn't like them?
No,
In
I
the
felt
end
like they
zone.
looked like they had been like in the laundry and not properly laundered. It just looked really bad to me. I don't like that faded blue look. I'm like, what? Who, whoever keeps going these flashbacks in uniforms, like, and then the Steelers. Let's not even get me started on their uniforms. They were hideous. I mean, I don't know. Maybe because my team is just newer, I don't have the same appreciation that older teams have as far as their uniforms. But I was just like that. It literally looked like a prison yard. That's what their uniforms look like. It looked like it was some type of
You talk about the
yeah,
well, they
like
have a
a
Bumblebee
Department of
one
Correction
too.
somewhere.
Yeah, the Bumblebee one is really bad.
Oh, they're
And
horrible.
then
You can't even blink with
Green Bay's
those.
got a bad one too. Green Bay's got them the fake leather helmet things, and that's just hideous too. I was like, come on, just get rid of it.
What do you guys
They
think?
had
What's
those
up,
uniforms in
Bo?
1934 for a reason.
Yeah, yeah. What's up to Bo Crouch joining us? Bo, what's going on? He is also one of our designers, has one of the shots designed that you see behind me. He's designed that. I mean, you guys, so what's going to happen with Justin Fields? This is his, what, third team? I mean, he was 15 for 26, only 116 yards, one tutty. And then the rushing yards, 67. Of course, on the opposite side, he was facing Travion Henderson for rushing yards. I mean, the running back, go figure. But Drake May put up 25 out of 34, over 200 yards, close to 300, 281 yards. I mean, it's just a total, it's not even a mirroring at this stage in the game for where Justin Fields is as a quarterback.
His future probably suggests that he may be having clipboards in hand and splinters in cheeks because he might be riding the bench going forward. This is it's just not looking good, man. I don't know what to say.
You
And
agree with
this is
that?
three teams.
Yeah, we still talking about them, buddy, because those are
Yeah.
hideous.
Right. And speaking of running through the scores, the Steelers lost to the Chargers. I don't think anybody saw that coming. I know I didn't. So they've now dropped two in a row. And Steelers fans are now basically having their buyer's remorse on Aaron Rodgers. You guys agree with that? I've talked to some Steelers fans off the record. And I mean, Aaron Rodgers is over 40 years old. He'll be 42 next month. So he's doing well for his age, considering he's a quarterback and the starting quarterback. But I mean, they only gave him 1 year to get his, what, together. What are you guys' thoughts on that? Because we are quickly approaching the end of that 1 year.
Look, at this juncture, I am not an Aaron Rodgers fan because of all the craziness and stuff that's been going around with him. But with that said, this is the same thing, the same issues that we saw with Russell Wilson last year. I mean, they were doing great at the beginning to mid-season, but then they start falling off the wagon. And it wasn't all on Russ. People want to blame Russ for it. Yes, he has some of his blame in it, but you got to blame the whole team. And I see some of the same things that happened with them. They didn't really address anything. They at least then they had a couple of receivers, and now you only have really just one, and he pretty much is a one trick pony. So I think
Yeah.
teams are knowing who they are. They they can shut down. If you shut down one wide receiver, you don't have really a run game. You got a decent defense, but they can only be on the field so long. I just think that they're up. You know what, creek without a paddle.
Yeah. B, do you agree? I mean, it was all good just a week ago, but let's be clear, a lot of Steelers fans were not really buying into Rodgers from the onset. He had this long holdout, this whole big production with Pat McAfee making it, an official supposedly announcement that really wasn't. Them locking down YouTube for hours on end, only for there to be nothing. Like, this is just I really had kind of got a little bit better with Aaron Rodgers. I wasn't a fan, but I felt like things had settled down. But then now I don't. What are your thoughts on that?
Let's. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is playing like he's supposed to be playing at his age. Okay, let's just put it that way. He's going to stop blaming Aaron Rodgers for everything on this team and start blaming that defense, which is like the highest paid defense in the league, and they're putting out the least amount of everything. They show up one game. It looks like every 3 games they show up. So as a defense, it's just It's horrible, and it shouldn't be horrible. There's something, and that's bad for Mike Tomlin. If I was in ownership, and I know Pittsburgh likes to hold on to their own, their coaches for a while, their head coaches, but you're a defensive minded head coach, and your defense is just hideous, and there's no call for that. For everything that team was, that was a calling card for Mike Tomlin, because he's a defensive minded coach, and their defense has been extraordinary. Probably like 3 years ago, that's probably when you seen the best of that defense, but it's been going downhill ever since. You can blame a lot of stuff on Aaron Rodgers, but like James said, it's the whole team. That defense is just bad, and it shouldn't be.
The one silver lining for them is that, I'm sorry, sis. Let me just say this now. I'll let you go. The one silver lining for them is that the whole division is not great. So there's an opportunity to right the ship a little bit. And, it's going to be tight. But between Baltimore trying to come up, and right their wrongs that they had, early on in the season, who knows? I think it might be a cross between three teams. We're talking, it could be four. Everybody might be in a mix. Cleveland might even be in a mix. I don't think so, but definitely Cincinnati and Baltimore and the Steelers are going to be in a mix for AFC North champions. So we'll see.
Yeah, I agree with that. I do want to talk about another team real quick before we start going into week 11 here. Well, we already started week 11. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers lost a close one to the New England Patriots, who we've talked about them being at the top of the AFC. And they're getting Bucky Irving back this week. He's been practicing and what have you. I think he's supposed to be fully cleared. He was practicing. He's not cleared.
He's out. Yeah.
So this is the thing. Okay. So to that point, we had a show last week. All three of us were on here, and we've seen players that are supposed to be fully available because they're practicing. And then here you are. It's now Friday, the weekend of the game, and oh, never mind. I guess they go out there and test their injury and see it's really not healed like they thought. Will him not being there continue to affect the Bucs? I mean, they seem to have their backup folks in place. Baker Mayfield got 273 yards against the Patriots on Sunday, 28 for 43 with no problems. He's just moved Sean Tucker up into place. 9 carries, 53 yards, and then Emeka Egbuka has also been another person that has filled in the gap on there. And that's why I say I feel like Tampa already has their people in place. Like they still are going to continue to be probably at the top of the division, depending on how this Falcons-Panthers game turns out. I kind of fingers crossed, because it is predicted that the Bucs may lose this next one against the Bills, depending on which Bills we get, because the Bills that trolloped the Panthers was the vicious Bills. Then you saw them get literally done the exact same way by the Miami Dolphins. Tua Tagovailoa and them really put the waves on them. And this game is in Buffalo. So you would think that maybe the Bucs may get upset on this one, and perhaps the Panthers can win. What's up, Pink Fanfare? ATL takeover shit. The A is gonna be blue tomorrow. And so if they could win, if they could lose and we could win, the roles will reverse in the South. Even though we had this loss of the Saints here, J Train. Are you guys particularly concerned at all about Tampa Bay, considering they continue to be plagued with these injuries?
You want to go, B?
Right now, Tampa Bay is probably healthy. They're the best team in that division. But with all the injuries that are taking place, it's that division is starting to remind me how the AFC North is going right now. Anybody can win a division right now. I mean, hell, even the Saints could if they go on a run.
Yeah. We're gonna get there, because me and Kevin talked about that, J Train. We're gonna get there. I hate to see it.
Yeah, it's just
it's still a lot of football
these
left.
teams all the teams in that division, well, besides the Saints, because we know kind of what they are, but the Atlanta, Carolina, and Tampa Bay are Jekyll Hyde teams. They'll come out and play one game, we're good, and the next game they'll play like ass. I'm sorry. It's Atlanta's the other team that does that. Between Atlanta, I don't know which team is going to show up on Sunday out of those three. At least New Orleans Saints, they got their they're on a track. It's not always on the track, but they're on
a bye week this week, so they're going to get some rest before they take on the Falcons, which is going to make them. And let me just tell you real quick, B. I'm sorry, I just got to plug this in. Today I did some research while I was on the phone with Kevin about why is there such I asked him this question. I said, the Falcons are playing the Panthers, and I like to think the Falcons are rivals, but I've asked so many Falcon fans, and they don't consider the Panthers a rival. They legit don't. And I'm like, well, I'll see 85 rivalry because Charlotte's the north of 85, and Atlanta's kind of not the south, but southern of 85. And they're like, yeah, no, it's just not the same. And so I decided to do my research because y'all know I like to read up on stuff and find out what's what. And I was like, well, maybe it's because, when New Orleans had Katrina, unfortunately, a lot of people had to relocate to Atlanta, but it's not that's just a tiny, tiny portion of it. These teams came into the league around the same time. Atlanta got the go ahead in 1965. They started their first games in 1966. The Saints started the fall of 1966 with the go ahead to join the NFL in 1967. And both of these teams, y'all, no lie, 55 and 55 is their record. They are dead even with the games they've won and lost against each other. Atlanta owns one tiebreaker. They've only seen each other one time in the finals, and Atlanta owns just that one. But other than that, it is 55-55. It's like tit for tat every game. So they are super competitive. They're the only two teams in the league that have that close of a record, and they're the only two teams from the southern part of the NFL region that have that type of rivalry, and it is justified. So, J-Train, I gotta get your talk because this is your team, and I'm gonna be honest, I'm proud right now of the Saints. I mean, I did not know. You could probably see the hypeness. I'm so happy that somebody's giving it to these freaking Falcons. I did not know that it was that close of a. It's just back and forth.
Yeah, you got it. I mean, the Falcons owned us mostly in the 80s and the early 90s, the Dion, the too legit to quit era. When they were around that time, Jerry Curl dudes and everything. Yeah, come on, Hammer hanging around. They were legit to quit. They were legit. And it was just a real good. It was a bad time for us because this is during the time when we were wearing brown paper bags. But but then along after Hurricane Katrina, along comes Sean Payton and Drew Brees, and that is when things turned around. And as a matter of fact, the first game we played, it was the block by what's his name. He's got AL.
He's got the statue.
He's got a statue. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but he didn't pass yet. He hasn't passed yet.
Oh, he hasn't? I thought he did.
No, he's just really not in a good way. Yeah. Maybe he did. I could be wrong, but we're talking about what's his name? I can't even think of the guy's name.
I'll find out.
Yeah. But that was the game that was the first game in the Dome, and we beat the Falcons, and then you just see. It just started an avalanche of wins. Of course, Steve Gleason. Yes. He started I started an avalanche of wins, and of course, we owned the Tampa Bay. We owned Atlanta. We just didn't own the Panthers. We always had a hard time with you guys, but definitely owned them Dirty Birds, them Funky. We had gumbo, and the Falcons were the main ingredient. So it was pretty much.
That just shows how much you guys had to rally back, though, too, because that means if you were down for 2 decades, 80s and 90s, with that whole Jerry Curl, too legit to quit, gold chains, and fast cars down here in Atlanta. I remember prime time, that's put them on the map, whatever. then that means y'all double work. And I respect people that come from behind way more than people that is automatically silver spooned it. If you already have the silver spoon advantage, I'm not going to, rally for you. But if you have literally dog fight your way back to an even matchup, that I always said I like Drew Brees. I'm not a Sean Payton fan. This might be a tiny way for me to just go ahead and do this once again. What's up, Scott? But yeah, Steve Gleason is only 48 years old, so he's still alive.
Still alive. Yep.
He's just not in a good way. He's not in a good way. Yeah, he's still alive.
He has ALS, but I mean that is just something I had to plug in, just as a little forethought. All right, of course, a couple more games to go through here before we, at the 30-minute, we'll start talking about our next week going up. The Bears took care of the Giants. Once again, the Giants just cannot get it together. I mean, they look like they were trying to play. And to be honest, I'm shocked that the Bears struggled that much because Caleb Williams had been playing lights out. But this game not only ended in a horrible 24-20 loss for the Giants, who have now only won 2 games. One of them against the Saints. I don't even remember who the other one was. But
they won.
Hold on. They lost against the Saints.
They beat the Chargers and they beat the Eagles.
Correction, yes. I knew they played, out of all of us, they played the Saints. Yes, and that was a shock. I don't know how they beat the Eagles. That was their highness. They are 2-8, y'all. They fired Brian Daboll. And as a matter of fact, they scored most of their points in the second quarter. Jackson Dart, 19 for 29, 242 yards. So he has an arm on him. And he was actually overthrew more than what Caleb Williams did, who had 220 yards. But then you got Tyrell Tracy Jr., who was there with him. Darius Slayton. We know that Scatterboo, their rookie, is out for the season, unfortunately. And then Malik Neighbors wasn't available as well. But then the Bears just edged this one out. Like, whenever there's a call that comes down like that, especially like with Roma Duze and all the weapons that they had, that is just being outcoached. Chicago goes on to being 6-3, very competitive in the NFC North. I'm sorry, B, but they are. They look way better than they did the previous 2 years. Who do you guys think that the Giants could get to fill this slot?
I mean, they got no choice right now. They're 30-30. And what they got, the intern coach right now, what coach is it? The offensive coordinator, the passing coordinator, or something.
Jameis Winston is now getting the start.
Yeah, they have no choice because Jackson Dart is in concussion protocol. He's going to be out this game. Yep. And then Russell Wilson has been demoted to third. And I'm surprised he hasn't just been put on a practice squad. But anyway, the Giants. Yeah, I think that Daboll is the one that lost the last 2 games. When you have a team coming, you have to come from behind and play like that. That shows a lot of moxie for your coach. You can't lose when you're beating a team by 19 points in the fourth quarter. You can't lose that game. And they found a way to do it. And that's with Jackson Dart. So I don't know what's going on with the Giants. They're up and down. And hey, I'm gonna tell you this. I like the Bears, but let's not give them too many flowers yet. They came back against 2 terrible teams, and they should have lost to Cincinnati. They should have lost to Cincinnati. If Cincinnati couldn't tackle a tree, so that's the reason why they won that game. And then the Giants just self-destructed with Russell Wilson at the helm because Jackson Dart got concussed, and because the Jackson Dart was killing them. I mean, he was killing Chicago. Chicago's defense is not that good. They're not that
what
good.
Do you think, Train? Yeah, you're right, B. You're right.
Giant situation, they're definitely going to need a marquee coach. They're going to need a big name. They had Daboll there. You saw what the record was. I think it was 21-48 or something like that. Had one good season with both Saquon Barkley and Mr. Indiana Jones, Daniel Jones, and both have gone on to better success.
Gone on and doing better where they are.
Right. So it doesn't look. Obviously, somebody had to go, but it's going to be a problem to me. Why? Because I think it should have been a pair of people sitting on the curb looking for a job. It should have been the GM as well. And so when you say it was GM's job, you made some good draft picks, but you also had some bad ones too as well. I mean, we're talking about Evan Neal, terrible offensive lineman, and I don't would like to discredit anybody in regards to their job. These people feed their families with the money they make, but he's just not good at his job. And that's like part of the problem is their offensive line wasn't on that great. And then you have the bad luck of having some major injuries to key players. Trust me, I know that personally last year with the Saints, with all those injuries that we had. And I think it's just unfortunately, Dayball just went haywire, trying to save his job, trying to put all his eggs in one basket with the quarterback, making sure, he doesn't go into concussion protocol, get in trouble with that. I just think that the Giants definitely need to have a big name come in and splash, and somebody like Rabel. They need to make that kind of move. Who's out there? I do not know. Maybe somebody from college, maybe somebody from UNC who has ties with the Giants.
I was
Could
thinking
be.
about that.
He already shot that down. They asked him
Yeah,
about that today. He shot it down.
You mean
they
his
say that.
girlfriend did? His girlfriend did.
They say
He
that.
runs everything by her.
I'm not going to say that's going to happen. I'm not going to say that he doesn't want to stay in college, but you offer somebody enough leverage. Maybe they get rid of the GM. You can come back in and do what you did with New England. You take the GM job and you take the coach's job. Might be they butter his bread, man, and he gets excited and go and takes a job. Who knows? But that's what the type of move that the Giants need to make to be relevant because they have a really good defense, but the defense can't do everything. The offense is the problem, and I think get some better draft picks. They're going to be in the top 5 draft pick as well, so they'll continue building, but it won't be anything without a marquee coach. I think.
Yeah, speaking of, this is the time of season we start seeing, the writing on the wall. They used to wait for Black Monday right after Thanksgiving or whatever, but we're going to start seeing people getting their marching papers. That's going to segue me into our next half. The Atlanta Falcons versus Indianapolis Colts over in London this past Sunday morning. That game was winnable by Atlanta. I literally chalked that up to bad coaching. They should have not gone overtime. I feel like Raheem Morris should have used that timeout to avoid the 10-second runoff. They had 11 seconds on the clock. They were within field goal range then, and they could have used the timeout, had 1 second, spiked it, and gone for the PAT then and won the game. I knew as soon as he decided not to use the timeout and to accept the 10-second runoff, and they went overtime, I shook my head. I was like, that's going to be game. What are you guys' thoughts on that? 31-25, Atlanta is now 3-6. Colts, on the other hand, 8-2.
I fully agree with you on that game. Don't get me wrong. Jonathan Taylor's a dog.
Yes, he
He
is.
is a dog. He is MVP caliber.
244 yards by himself.
3 TDs. He's going to be threatening. I'm telling you right now, at
Yes.
this point in the season, he's going to be threatening the 2,000-yard rushing record. And he's
Yep.
also going to be threatening LT's TD record. I mean, he's putting them up. And so if they can't stop him, and if they continue to fix those little errors that Indiana Jones is throwing whips the other way, you need to be cracking the whip the right way. And I mean, for real, I just think that they're really good. But getting back to Atlanta, man. Atlanta, it's the coaching. Coaching's bad. I mean, in this matter, there's too talented of an offense. In my opinion, you got too many first round draft picks to not win. And what really kind of solidifies that, even though they try to clarify it a little bit, is the post game talk of Michael Penix when they asked him those questions. He didn't have a good answer for that. And it was like, I can't lean on my coaches. I can't lean on for any advice, pretty much. Or that's what he was saying. There's nobody. He calls his old coaches, for advice about what to do and what not. That's not good. That's not good at all. That's a poor reflection of leadership of the regime that's in there right now. And to be honest with you, if it continues to go like that direction, the way they're going right now, if they lose to the Saints, I think there's going to be a cleanup house. If they lose to the Saints,
If they lose
they
Sunday,
lose
Jay
to the
Train,
Panthers.
if they lose
Yeah.
Sunday, then he's out of there.
yeah.
Listen, that's the same thing, and I'm gonna get your comment, B, because I definitely want to hear your thoughts on this. When Dan Quinn got marched up out of there, they were playing us that day. I was watching that game. It was during the pandemic, and it was 2021. I mean, a little bit, I was at a cabin, I was watching it. The announcers was like, "Uh-oh, here comes Arthur Blank." Like, you could tell it was coming. He was like, he's coming down on the field. I'm like, oh, they about to march Dan up out of there like this. Sure enough, like, we are the coach killers. That's not the only time we've gotten the coach marched up out of there. If Raheem Morris does not, this means they have already dropped like 4 in a row. This will be their 5th loss in a row if they lose Sunday and at home. They are losing internationally. They are losing at home. They are losing away. If they lose Sunday in a divisional matchup, he won't even get to the Saints. They are going to take care of that at home. They're not going to even waste his plane fare going to New Orleans. I guarantee that. B, what are your thoughts?
Yeah. You said you had a little bit of a conversation with Kevo. Did he try to make excuses for the team, or did he acknowledge the fact that they need to change the coach? Because he's been talking like the coach isn't the problem, and that is BS.
Yeah, excuse me. I agree. Like J Train said, they are stacked offensively. There is no reason why Bijan Robinson should have had 17 carries and only 84 yards. 17 times he was hit. Jonathan Taylor on the other side of that, 32 carries, double the amount, and literally almost triple the yards, 244 yards. More than Bijan. They shut him down.
And 3 TDs.
London. Yes, and 3 TDs. Drake London had 1 touchdown. Michael Penix had to get his own touchdown. Drake London was targeted 6 times, only 104 yards. And my biggest thing, like I said, is that timeout. But Kevo said, to his credit, I can kind of think a little bit about that they feel like this is one of these things, because right now, 980 The Fan, the Atlanta Sports Channel, is talking about it. They want him out of there. As soon as that Indianapolis game had ended, the chatter had begun. Falcon fans are wanting him out. Falcon people all around the town are talking about wanting him out. And my whole thing is, when you get the media involved, the ownership will listen. Sometimes that's the catalyst that it takes to get somebody out. And I guarantee you, we're sitting here now, you can snapshot whatever this conversation. If the Panthers win on Sunday, we will be talking about how Raheem got marched up out of there the next time we all meet. But Kevin says he thinks that they don't want to give him a break because he's a black coach. That he's not, he admits that there is some issues, but he feels like it could kind of work itself out because Raheem hasn't been there long enough. Raheem has been coach before. Yeah.
You are too talented. I can see if he didn't have the talent to say, yes, that would save his job. But you got first-round draft pick wide receiver, first-round draft pick quarterback, first-round draft pick running back, first-round draft pick tight end. You can't ask for more than that.
Exactly. On the offensive side. He's got
picks
on the defensive side, too.
Come on, man. Come on.
And you're a defensive coach.
First-round draft pick bookends. You got first-round draft pick cornerback. You got a first-round draft pick. Anybody else on defense? No, I think that's it. Yeah, but either way, that's it. I mean, I was about to keep going. But with that said, if he loses, or if the Atlanta Falcons lose to the Carolina Panthers, and Raheem Morris finds the exit, does Zach Robinson follow him, or does he take over as interim and the offense runs through him and the coaching runs through him? Because he's his guy. He picked him, handpicked him out of Atlanta. I mean, he came from
there. If he handpicked them, they both have to go.
That's what I think too.
In Carolina, when they got rid of Ron Rivera, they decided they want to start next. It was Cam. Cam came out like, hey, Don't come out and say this was amicable that I left on my own. You guys forced us out. And eventually, when David Tepper took over the team, they kept letting people go until nobody was left from the Ron Rivera era.
The Falcons are cooked.
Or do you think they're okay? So, B, did you have a closing comment on that part before we start talking about game predictions?
Well, as far as Zach Robinson is concerned, I think what Atlanta will do, they'll probably fire if they lose to the Carolina Panthers. They'll probably fire Raheem and make Zach Robinson the intern coach just to see if he's got what it takes to be a coach. And if he doesn't, then they're going to go the old-fashioned route, and at the end of the year, they're going to get rid of him and find a coach for the team. But I don't think Raheem's going to last more than a couple of games. I just don't see it.
Yeah, Falcon fans, I just saw you guys approved the post to be shared to your group. Please weigh in on this conversation. You guys are playing the Atlanta's playing the Carolina Panthers on Sunday. Big divisional matchup, not only from the standpoint of you guys got to try to come back from 3-6, like you're well below 500 at this point, but Carolina is on track to possibly be competitive for the top of the division. You know you don't want them or the Saints in that number one position. Everybody can kind of agree that Tampa Bay is kind of an afterthought. Like they're there, but we just out of sight, out of mind. I don't know. We don't have a lot of people from Tampa Bay that live in Atlanta. We do have a lot of people from Charlotte that live in Atlanta. We have a lot of New Orleans people that live in Atlanta. And I think just the three of us in ourselves kind of have a little competitiveness, over it. But I really agree with this. And so that leads me to my next segue where we start talking about week number 11. We will start off with the Falcons and Panthers game. Because I'm already partial and y'all know that, I'll get your comments on this game coming up. Bryce Young, third year at our quarterback, has had still some up and downs. We've seen him look good sometimes, and we're rah, rah, rah. That's our quarterback. But then it's not that Bryce looks bad, but his O-line does not protect him. Or we see the pockets collapse, which is the same thing. Or the defense, minus J.C. Horn's explosive plays, they are stagnant. And Rico Dowdle was silenced by the Saints. Going into that for this upcoming game on Sunday in Atlanta, what are you guys' thoughts on that?
It's a good question because do the Falcons figure out a way to win? Because when I say that, I say that because they definitely their backs are against the wall. I mean, like I said, that post game conference just happened last week, and it was kind of weird that how the guy answered Michael Penix. And so going up against, the fact, like you said, the Saints were able to neutralize somewhat Rico Dowdle, but do they have the Panthers have it in them to say no? We're going to come back, we're going to bounce back, and the quarterback. I think everything is going to be predicated on how Bryce Young plays. He's got to bounce back. I saw his post game interview after that game, and you could see he has fire in him. He has a lot of fire in him, and he answered the questions, but virtually he said, "I got to be better. I got to be better. We got to be better."
He takes on.
Yes, and so he's got to do that. Now, mind you, the coach got to figure out a way to get a 5'10" quarterback to be able to roll out like he normally does, and find to find his weapons versus staying in the pocket. He can't do that, and the run game's got to continue to progress. That helps the quarterback. It helps any quarterback, but it'll definitely help him because he was been in the funk. So, do I think they go into Atlanta and win this game? Yes, I do. I think their run game bounces back. I think the Falcons are with what they have right now is better a bit of a train wreck. And again, I'm just Pandora's box got open when Michael Penix answered that question the way he did. But like I said, they tried to change it, and he declined to emphasize what he meant. But Raheem Morris came in and tried to spice it up. And clean it up a little bit. But I really think there's something there. And so because I'm not saying he was drunk, but a drunk man tells no lies. I was just saying he told what was on his heart, and that I think that was the problem. He told the truth. He should have told the truth there right in front of the media, and that there lies the problem. And I think there's internal issues there, and that's why because a team like this doesn't make any sense to be that talented and be as streaky as they are. But I got the Panthers going in Atlanta winning that game, Sonya. I'm giving you that one.
What's the score prediction?
I say maybe 30-20 or somewhere around there.
Okay, so you do know if we go in and win, it means we sweep them this year. The last time we swept the Falcons was in 2014, if I'm remembering correctly. They've swept us a couple times, but that's the first time. It's usually a split with them. So you still agree with that?
Yeah, I still do because I just think there's some internal dysfunction going on in there,
Okay.
and that's the problem.
I hope you're right. B, your thoughts?
Well, I picked the Falcons to win because they're at home. Had it been in Carolina, but it's already been in Carolina, I would have definitely picked Carolina. I just think that Atlanta, if they don't win this game, this is the reason why I think they should win this game. If they don't win this game, they're ass out. They are. They're through. They're through. Raheem Morris is gone. That's it. The players got to play for something. They're professionals. They got to be out there playing that game. They have the talent on both offense and defense. They can win games. At one point in the season, too, they were like in top 5 in defense in every category, just about. Now, how are you top 5 in defense and you're 3-6? I don't understand that kind of stuff. And with on Carolina's point is, again, it's another team that shows up one week and doesn't show up the next week. They show up against Green Bay, but they can't show up against New Orleans at home. Come on. I mean, you know what I'm saying? I'm having brain function problems with these two teams. I really am. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised. Hey, I wouldn't be surprised if Carolina wins, but I think more of the onus for a win is on Atlanta's side. They need that game. If they don't win that game, it's over for them. It is. It's over. I don't think.
What's your score prediction?
That's the other thing about Atlanta too. Their kickers. They would have just kept. Young Mo. They would have been just fine. Of course, Justin Tucker is out there. They can go get him.
Yep. Just finished his 10-game suspension. Atlanta, he's available to be signed. Forgot to plug that in. I mean, congrats for him getting off that.
He might have to deal with his off-field issues, but hey, that dude is money when he kicks. Well, he used to be money when he kicks.
He might have some stuff here in Atlanta. They got all these clubs down here for him to help him out. So, you know, he might be okay here. What's your score prediction?
It's a field goal. Like I said, either way, I think it's like around mid-20s, 20-17, 21 to 18, or 21-20 or something like that. It's going to be a field goal that wins the game. And like I said, I'm picking Atlanta, but because it's in Atlanta, but it could go. Carolina could win this game too. So
we are 9-22 on the road against Atlanta, which means we've lost 22 games in Atlanta. They've won 9 in Atlanta. I pulled all the stats before we hopped on. Excuse me. Even the season we were undefeated, our only loss came in Atlanta. For the entire season, that was the perfect season, and it was towards the end of the season. I'm still scarred by that. But because I am a fan,
This is different. The Falcons don't look like they're supposed to be.
Well, y'all know I'm a roll with the Panthers regardless. And even if I saw the scoreboard, I'm still gonna, to the very last second, if we were down 50 points, I'm gonna still say we're gonna win. So I'm gonna say the Panthers are gonna win. I will agree with B though, it will be close because it always is. And every time I've seen it in Atlanta, it's always close in Atlanta. It's hardly ever close in Charlotte. It's always every time it's close in Atlanta, like less than a touchdown close every single time. So I feel like
As
the
you
Panthers
should.
are going to win. It's probably going to be like, at this point, I'm probably going to say like maybe 23-17, still a touchdown or something like that. Somebody's going to miss an extra point. We already know. That's why I said 6 points. I'm going to give it 6 points, and I'm going to go with the Panthers. I do not want it to come down to a field goal, and I have not decided if I'm even going to that game. And I'm normally there every year, but this year, I don't know who I would go with. Kevin, if he decides to let me have his extra ticket, I'll go with Kevin and we'll be side by side. But he's already told me it's a conundrum of bird nesters there. So, I mean, I'm always surrounded by them when I go anywhere. I don't ever do research on the seats. But I'm going to pick that we're going to win. Let's talk about the Saints are on a bye this weekend. I'm getting ready for the Falcons. Good luck to you guys on the following week when you all play them. That'll be the Sunday of Thanksgiving week kicking off. We are running through November rapidly. But the Lions and Eagles, everybody and their mama is talking about that game. They have the big display on Sunday night at 8:20. But I'm going to be honest, B. I'm going to give you my plug. I think the Lions are going to wrangle the Eagles because this is not the same Eagles we have seen last season. But they may try to stand up. This game is in Philly. Sunday night, 8:20, NBC Peacock. Your thoughts? I'm gonna get J Train's thoughts first, B, because I see the little look of defeat there that you may not be 1,000% certain. I want to see certainty. I want to see yes, divide and conquer. Go ahead, J Train.
I think the Lions are going to be the Eagles, and I think here's why. I think just as we spoke about the Falcons having some dysfunction within the organization, there's definitely some brewing of dysfunction as well within the Eagles nest. I just think that AJ Brown is really he needs to keep his mouth shut in the media. He's also saying things as well regarding wanting to get his stats and everything else. Shut that up,
Yeah.
man. Nobody wants to hear that. You're winning. You guys, what, 6-2? I think they're 6-2.
7-2.
Yes, 7-2, man. You that I mean, and he's on media talking about they he after 2 hours after the Super Bowl or 2 days or something after the Super Bowl, he it went away the feeling of it. And no, you know how long like B
Nobody
y'all
wants to
never
hear
went,
that.
y'all never been to the Super. Nobody want to hear that, man.
Right.
You gotta shut up,
I
dude.
saw those comments. I was like, is this really for real? He's talking about if you got me on your fantasy, drop me. I was like, is he okay? Like mentally, is he okay for real? Like we have to check in on that kind of thing in this day and age.
Look, I get it, man. You don't have your stats. You want your stats, but you don't say this stuff out loud. That's so degrading to
Yeah.
your team, and it's so
Yeah.
disrespectful to other teams that have never been in your position. Guys that wish they could be in your position, and you're just like, man, and you have the opportunity to say, fine, I'm a player. This is the typical diva mentality, but it's to
Mm-hmm.
the umpteenth degree. And I don't want to put Gen Zs in these stereotypes, but man, come on. I've never seen or heard this. I know T.O. was pretty bad with some of the things he said, but I love me some me, but this dude really love him some him. And it's
Mm-hmm.
just you got to really be quiet about these types of things, man, because that could tear away the fabric of your team as a tightly knit unit. And I just don't understand that. I don't get that. Coach needs to nip that in the bud.
Right. And I love that. Pink says she agrees on that. And that's a discipline issue. B, your thoughts on all of that.
Go ahead, Pink. Yeah, they need some help. They need some
Pink
help.
is a social worker for real. She with
Yeah,
that life.
she need to go up there. Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna tell you something. I think AJ Brown, I think he's checked out. I really do. And that's not gonna bode well in this game either. My compadre Nate said he's gonna have a heck of a game because the secondary is not gonna be there. I said, first of all, when he did that the last time, guess who didn't throw to him? Hurts. He wasn't throwing to him at all. He said, all right, fine. You want to talk stuff? Okay. You ain't getting the ball at all then, buddy.
Yeah.
And I'm more worried about Devontae Smith than I'm worried about him. I'm worried about Goddard more than I'm worried about him, defensively. So, I mean, Sirianni needs to nick that in the butt. They should have traded him or whatever the case may be. Something needed to happen with him. Bench him, sit him down, do something. Dude, you just won a Super Bowl. You didn't particularly have a lot of catches last year because your running back was doing all the hard work. And you were successful at that. You went to the Super Bowl. And then that's when you guys shined because Kansas City found a way to stop Saquon. So then you guys got open and Hurts was out there balling. So you're going to be there for a purpose. If somebody stops a certain aspect of your offense, which is a lot of people have stopped it this year. I mean, they're 7-2, but you got to look at some of these games that they barely won some of these games. I mean, the Green Bay game, they basically gave that away and they still won that game. They got to play better, offensively and defensively. They're ranked low in both categories right now. And that's why I say I'm not worried about the Lions offense because the Lions offense is like, top 5, top 10 in most of the categories. So I'm not worried about the offense. And Dan has decided he's going to take over the play calling until Morton gets more settled in. So he understands the players. Morton's not a bad offensive coordinator. The thing is, if you don't know your players, Ben came up with all these players. So he just was a natural fit. So when he was calling plays, he understood what these players are about. Morton has been away from this team for a couple of years, so he doesn't know the players. And this is what Dan is trying to do. He's trying to get him incorporated into the plays. But anyway, so he's going to be calling the plays. And you see what they did to Washington. Okay, I know it was Washington, and they had a whole bunch of injuries. And Washington showed all kinds of frustration too. So that was the other part of it. I just don't have a problem with their offense.
When you think about scores, so obviously you're saying you all are going to win. What's your score prediction?
Somewhere between 27-20. It's going to be a mid-level game again. 27-20, 30-27 at the highest to me. I think they're going to win by a field goal. I just don't see I just don't see that fire. I mean, they're winning they're walking through games. That's one thing about Philly. That when you're a good team and you have that talent on offense and defense, and you've been to a Super Bowl, you're sleepwalking through your season. Basically, that's what they're doing. They're sleepwalking through their season, and they're still 7-2. Think about that. That's the other dangerous part. It's kind of like looking at Kansas City.
I was just about to say.
Everybody says, "Oh, they're not that good this year," blah blah blah, and then they end up in the Super Bowl. So, I mean, there you go. And it's the same thing with Philadelphia. So the advantage that Philadelphia has is being at home, and somewhere most of the Lions have never played at before in Philadelphia. So it'll be a challenge, but I think the Lions can get it done. I think they can surprise Philadelphia a little bit. They haven't seen anybody as fast as Jahmyr Gibbs out there. Josh Jacobs, he's a bulldozer, but he's not fast like Jahmyr. Jahmyr can just shake you. So I just think on that we got faster weapons. So
J Train, you agree? We got about a few seconds left here.
24-21 Lions.
And Pink says she would love to see the Lions in the Super Bowl. So would I, and I know it's long overdue. Definitely wishing your team good luck. Eagles fans, we're sorry in advance. Falcons fans, we are not sorry in advance. We do. And J Train, enjoy your break. Everybody, thanks so much for the likes, loves. Thank you so much, Pink Fanfare, for the production behind the scenes. And thank you to all the commenters. This show will re-air at 2 a.m. live on the replay. So if you don't see the live button, don't worry. We were here at 9 p.m. And Bistrilla and J Train will be live tomorrow morning at 8 a.m. with Jack Hirsch for the debate show. Sunday morning, big Sunday morning sports show, 8 a.m. to 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. With that, all the vets, thank you again. And everyone else, have a great week and enjoy.